Mike, you total moron. You said that people should be locked up for comments that the ruling regime find to be racist. Well, now you're on the receiving end of accusations of racism. You can't cry foul. You should never have tried to cancel people in the first place, and now it's come back and bit you in the arse. So yeah, I wouldn't be in favour, of course, of people using this situation to cynically exploit it and shut down Talk, because I like appearing on Talk and I like the people that appear on Talk, and I think it's an important station to have, Dan. But if they get shut down over this, do you know who's to blame? Mike Graham.
Breaking today, I can reveal fears within the crisis-hit News UK station Talk TV that it's going to be shut down altogether within months if suspended presenter Mike Graham, overwhelmingly the most popular host on Talk, does not return, is not allowed to return, which unfortunately is looking increasingly likely. Now, Mike has broken his silence, posting late last night a picture of his fire and writing, "burning down the house," which certainly seems to suggest he isn't expecting to return either. Katie Hopkins has supported him, however, posting on X, "I am banned from all Murdoch media globally, so have no skin in the game. Mike Graham, his listeners love him. Your channel needs him. Who gives a shit what he wrote on Facebook? Stop pandering to the special needs twats missing a spine. Thank you, Katie Hopkins." And one of the key contributors on the station has now spoken out against the other star hosts for staying silent. I know all about that. Kate Hoey posting on X, "I am disappointed that the other Talk TV journalists have not spoken out and that some have undertaken his show. If it can happen to Mike Graham, it can happen to any of them. Where is the solidarity?" And indeed, and this is one of the big problems on the British right, when one of our own go down, even if it's one of our own colleagues, everyone else stays silent. It certainly happened to me when I went through something very similar at GB News. Ironically, the dude who ran so fast to take my show, Mark Dolan, was the only Talk presenter who did tweet in support of Mike Graham, but he quickly deleted it. So Sandy Tredgen wrote, "I stand with strong figures like Dan Wootton and Mike Graham." But then she said, "So Mark Dolan has deleted his tweet in support of Mike Graham. I suspect he may have been warned by his employers. If so, not a good look for Talk TV." Now, I want to be fair, because I feel like I've tried to be fair during this whole story, given that these are people who I know and on the whole have a great deal of respect for. And I have spoken to a lot of the current presenters at Talk who say that their silence is not a commentary on the fact that they don't want Mike Graham to return. It's the fact that they think it is much more likely that if they do stay silent at this point, he will return. I'm not sure I agree with that. By the way, if you don't know what has seen the station suspend their highest rated presenter, let me just take you through the controversy. On Sunday night, this post ended up on Mike Graham's Facebook and Instagram. Compare and contrast. Tell me we're not fucked by multicultural bollocks. Why are we surrounded by non-white people? Just fuck off. Aid Oladipo, the Talk sport presenter, then wrote, "Just been sent that now deleted Instagram post from Mike Graham. I usually hold my tongue with most of the racist nonsense I see on social media, but this is beyond vile and unacceptable from someone in the same building as me, same floor. He simply has to be taken off the air immediately by Talk TV, horrible man." So panic ensued behind the scenes, and an immediate investigation was launched by News UK, prompting Mike Graham's hostage video apology, where he then posted on Sunday night, "My Facebook was accessed and a vile message was posted on my page without my knowledge. It contained words that I would never write and an opinion I don't share. As soon as I found out, I immediately deleted the post and have taken steps to ensure my cybersecurity is enhanced. Obviously, I am mortified that such a post could have gone out in my name and am now attempting to find out how it could have happened. I am equally very sorry for any distress it has caused to anyone." And at that point, Mike Graham went from hosting his show as normal on Monday to on Tuesday, his best mate, Jeremy Kyle, been there instead. Watch. Dan Wootton Outspoken is available as a podcast too. So to listen or watch us on the go, wherever you are, then please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And as a personal favour to me, please rate and review, as it really helps our independent.
Welcome back to Morning Glory. It is coming up to 6 minutes. It is Monday morning, the 20th of October. Julie Hartley-Brewis here. Very good morning.
We're not down. We're going.
We're still going. Yeah, it's called radio. It's just
wind it up.
Right.
Well, my friends, a very good morning. What is it? Honest to God, it's very early. It's Tuesday, the 21st of October. It's JK for MG. Don't panic if you're waking up. The main man just having today away. But we are here. Julia Hartley-Brewer very soon on Talk. I nearly said Drive, but it's actually Morning Glory. Cheers. Hey, very, very good morning to you. What is it? Wednesday, the 22nd of October. JK on Morning Glory till 10 o'clock. Thanks for tuning in.
And you wouldn't believe it. Today, it was Mark Dolan who was filling in for Mike Graham. So there you go. The same type of loyalty he showed me. What is interesting, though, and I say this, by the way, as a friend of Mike Graham, I think he's a great guy, but Mike has conducted some very unfortunate wars against people on our side over the past couple of years. And I don't think that's been good for him now. For example, the Lotus Eaters. And Mike previously wrote of the Lotus Eaters team, specifically Bo Dade, I am a big shot, you're nobody, have some respect, you little twit, then maybe you can get in the queue. So Bo Dade has now responded, and can you blame him, saying Mike Graham is a big shot in the Dole queue. And there's also been a lot of concern about some of Mike Graham's earlier attempts to deny the fact that there is serious demographic change going on in the United Kingdom. A lot of it was spawned by this video.
Can you tell me how somebody next door to you has been replaced by somebody else? Have you got a theory on that?
Yes, it's on the ONS.
No. I'm looking for actual evidence. You're telling me that people are being replaced. Can you tell me of any friends of yours who have been taken away and replaced? Do you know what the word replace means? It means taking something away and replacing it with something else. Do you understand what that actually means? You have no evidence that anyone's being replaced, do you?
Only according to what the demographic experts are predicting. But that white.
Oh, it's a prediction. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realise it was a prediction. I thought you were telling me that people were actually actively being replaced now.
Yeah, it's called the replacement plan. It's on the United Nations.
Oh, right. So when does the plan kick in? When does it start?
I think it started a while ago.
Did it? Whoa. What, so you mean there's already loads of people that have been replaced in Southend then?
Yeah.
Right, OK. So do you know anyone that's disappeared in Southend? Because this is a great story now. I'm thinking that we should get into it.
But, you know, Mike has been great right up until last week on certain issues. Watch.
Pakistani community and the FA, says Anna in Surrey. And Louise says, good morning, Mike. Louise from Ipswich. Aston Villa might as well have put up a sign saying no Jews allowed. This is blatant anti-Semitism. I'm frankly ashamed of Aston Villa. I'm ashamed of Birmingham. I'm ashamed of the police in Birmingham. These people have no business in our country. And this bloke, Ayub Khan, whoever he is, should go back to Pakistan and practice his anti-Semitism somewhere where people appreciate it, because we certainly do not.
And the thing is, of course, it is possible to still really respect someone as a broadcaster. I mean, I think Mike is an incredible broadcaster. I listened to his show. You know, his show was the show that I would listen to on Talk. I haven't been listening since Mike has gone. But if you're someone like Tommy Robinson, who Mike has attacked, you obviously feel differently about this story. And I understand there are two sides to it. So this was Tommy's response.
Hold on. Mike, what's going on? For years, you've condemned me as a racist. And you just lost your job. Mike, you know, some fat dude who does talk radio, talk TV. For years, all he ever does is use his platform, and every time he talks about me, he condemns me as that far-right racist. He's got drunk and he's got pissed up, posted loads of racist stuff. His true feelings come out. You were masking, you were fucking... It's brilliant.
Good, he's got time to exercise now.
Do you want a job with us, Mike? Nah, mate, don't employ racists.
And now Connor Tomlinson, who is here today, has had his own very similar run-in with Mike Graham. So just before I get Connor's response, let me just remind you what happened. This was a couple of years ago in a conversation about the World Economic Forum, and Connor posted directly to Mike, "You couldn't be more wrong on this. Here's Peter Cardwell and I discussing their policy plans for a global digital ID, a cashless society, and a social credit system. World Economic Forum are as unaccountable and influential as the EU. We should discuss sometime." So pretty reasonable, I would say. But Mike responded saying, "Connor, listen and learn. You're a nobody. No one cares what you think. You'll never debate me. You're not clever enough. Goodbye." And so Connor then published a direct message exchange between the pair, where he wrote, "Evening, Mike. Saw today's show and the clips that have stirred up a storm online. Gave Aaron a text earlier about this. That's his former producer. I spoke about the World Economic Forum with Peter Cardwell a few weeks back. Could be useful to discern the kooky conspiracy theories from the actual bad policies they propose in a radio segment sometime. All the best, Connor." Mike replied, "Don't bother, mate. You're not qualified and you'll never get anywhere trying to belittle my arguments. Bye." And then when Connor was involved in a bit of a toe-to-toe with Reform UK deputy leader Richard Tice, Mike also weighed in. This was more recent, saying Tomlinson is a moron. Ignore. But first, let me hit you with a stat that's honestly terrifying. Data breaches worldwide jumped 211% from 2023 to 2024, driven by 5 massive mega breaches. That's millions of people's private info spilled in one go. It could easily include you, phone number, home address, even health data. And here's the kicker. Once your data's out, it doesn't just disappear. Data brokers and people's search sites keep buying it and selling it. So anyone from scammers to stalkers to nosy employers can dig up your life in just a few clicks. That's why I use Incogni. In a space crowded with shady players, Incogni stands out as the proven solution, independently verified by Deloitte, to actually remove personal data from hundreds of broker sites and private databases, send regular follow-ups, and track real confirmation responses. Think of it like hitting delete on your online footprint. So create your account and give Incogni the bare minimum to find your exposed profiles. Authorize them just once to act on your behalf, then start removing your info and keep at it so it doesn't pop back up. And here's the power move. Custom removals on the unlimited plan. If you see a page anywhere publishing your details like court record portals, company databases, people search results, drop the exact link into your Incogni dashboard and their privacy team takes it down for you beyond the automated list. Unlimited links handled by specialists. It's hassle-free, it's effective, and it buys you real peace of mind. They can't harm you if they can't find you. I use this every month, and it is so hassle-free, but really important to my life. So don't wait for the next breach. Go to incogni.com/outspoken right now and get 60% off an annual plan. That's incogni.com/outspoken. Protect yourself, your family, and your future. Just click on the link in the description box below. Now, back to the show. Connor, look, I've really tried to be fair on this story because I know what it's like to go through this type of cancellation. I know what it's like when your colleagues stay silent. I know what it's like when there's a pile-on, when your, livelihood is threatened. And pretty much here I'm with Katie Hopkins, right? But I do also understand why there's a whole load of you lining up saying, well, Mike didn't treat us particularly well. So what's your view on the story, given the context that I've just explained?
The reason I haven't said anything about this, Dan, isn't just because I've been away for a little while, and because Mike has me blocked, so he doesn't even come up on my feed anymore. But it's because, one, I don't want to be seen as doing our enemy's bidding for them by dogpiling on him at a time where he is being axed. Two, I haven't wanted to comment because, well, beyond the idea that Mike's story saying his Facebook was hacked seems a little bit dubious. Hey, maybe he could surprise us, and as happened when an ex-girlfriend broke into my Facebook account, he could produce the exact date and time and location where the Facebook account was hacked. Because actually, if you Meta provides you with the login locations, if someone else has gotten into your account. So that would prove whether or not, of course, he was hacked. Otherwise, there could be the assumption, as when he went after me late on a Wednesday night back in 2022, that he's just had a bit too much to drink and sort of fat-thumbed it. So that's also possible. So that's the reason I didn't want to comment, because obviously it's nebulous about that. But the third reason I didn't want to comment was because be careful who you shit on from a great height. Because Mike had absolutely no reason to be rude to me way back when. He had no reason to hang on to that for 2 years and then chime in when Richard Tice decided to call my article predicting actually the exile of Rupert Lowe from the party about 5 months before it happened garbage twice. Mike had no reason to be rude to me in public or private, and conspicuously after that initial spat with Mike in 2022, I was then blacklisted by a talk producer and had to get another host to lift it because he was shocked that I had been blacklisted and said, this isn't company policy, I don't know what's going on. No, I don't know if that was Mike. It could just well be I said something very stupid the station didn't like. But ever since the blacklist has been lifted, I've been a pretty consistent regular on there and was just asked on earlier in the week. I just couldn't do the spot. So the reason that the Lotus Eaters have spoken out against Mike is because he's been disparaging against them. The reason I haven't spoken out in favour of Mike, because he's been needlessly rude to me. And the reason that generally people don't consider Mike one of ours, or on the right, as you've said, Dan, is because he's poo-pooed demographic replacement of the English, which is undeniably going on. Remember, that segment was in 2021, the same year the census proved that London is now a third English. Totally unacceptable, while at the same time having a completely different double standard for Israel and saying, well, you know, anti-Semitism, that's a total nadir, it's totally beyond the pale, we couldn't possibly do that, but if the English don't exist in their own country anymore, well, if you notice that, you're a racist. I'm happy to be quite consistent. I'm happy to have the same standard for Israel as I am England, which is that if the Jews were to no longer be a demographic majority and in political power in Israel, it would no longer be Israel. Same thing with the English. And Mike Graham's consistent attempt to gatekeep concerns about demographics, about the undue influence of the World Economic Forum on our politics, and to pull the ladder up after himself when some of us are just trying to say plain-spoken truths on broadcast media, means that he is, well, you might have him in high esteem, Dan, but frankly, I'm not going to cry any tears over him losing his job.
No, and I do understand that. And as I say, I've tried to be fair on this because while I really personally do like Mike and love listening to him, I have been horrified by some of the attacks that he's launched on people like you and people like Tommy Robinson and people like the Lotus Eaters. So I'm trying to be really fair on this. I do think what's really bad, though, and remember I say this as someone who was there in 2020, is this civil war between Talk TV and Talk Sport, which has gone so woke, right? So this was Talk Sport back in the BLM days, as we on Talk Radio tried to actually have a sane conversation. They fully bought the narrative.
Be able to help all those who don't understand the Black Lives Matter movement. If you're fired up about it and you shout back, well, all lives matter or white lives matter as well, then please just stop for a second, take a listen to this. Hopefully it will help you.
And so when I speak about the Civil War, Connor, it's actually the Talk Sport presenters and producers, not the Talk Radio or the Talk TV presenters that are trying to force Mike out. And this was explained, I mean, I had already reported this, but it was explained very well to the Daily Express, who actually quoted an insider from Talk Sport, and it's worth me just reading out what they said, Connor. I'll get you to respond. So they said, it's like civil war has broken out on the shop floor. What the public don't understand is that Talk Sport and Talk Radio are very different channels in the same building on the same floor. At Sport, we have people of all different colours working alongside each other peacefully. We're one big happy team, and the bosses at News UK know that. But at Talk Radio, their agenda and output is highly charged to make migrants and minorities feel like the enemy. The fact that Mike Graham can post some of the trash he does normally and nobody in senior management has told him off before is a disgrace, but his Facebook post is the last straw. None of us at TalkSport want to work with him. Why would we want to work with a man who says the things he says? In order for the Talk Radio presenters to get to their studio, they have to walk through the TalkSport section of the office, and we don't want him there anymore. Just look at the presenter lineups of both stations and tell me you don't see the difference. We have big names like Darren Bent and Gabby Amplahor. Why should they have to share a workspace with Mike Graham after what he said? If Danny Morris, the head of both stations, protects his good friend Mike Graham, there will be a civil war in this place. So, Connor, what the Talk Sport presenters are attempting to do is use this to essentially kill off Talk. And I've got a bit of insight on that, Connor, because there are now real fears within talk that the manager will end up using Mike Graham's departure just to kill off the station altogether. Ratings are down 12% in the most recent radio figures. They've now been overtaken by GB News, even on the radio airwaves. And they just don't want this type of hassle.
Yeah, Dan, but if this were Kevin or Julia or Alex or Ian or Peter Carber or anyone else who's treated me with any courtesy, I'd be a lot more sympathetic. Or if it were anyone who's been consistent on this issue, I'd be sympathetic. Because those may not remember who weren't avid listeners of Talk Radio back in the day. But my first segment on Talk was actually with Kevin O'Sullivan. It's what landed me my original Tomlinson Talk segment on the station. And it was talking about the fact that the FA were going to continue taking the knee in football for BLM in 2021. And we spoke about the absurdity of it and how that taking the knee is a gesture of fealty. It shows your subservience, and you should only, as Dominic Raab actually once said pretty well, take the knee for your king, your country, or your wife. And so if you're taking the knee to black people as a whole, it's saying, I'm white, I'm guilty, I'm racist, therefore to have power over me. Mike Graham after the, I think it was the Euros that year, final, when Saka missed the penalty, and lots of messages came out apparently on Instagram, making unfavourable comparisons to monkeys and quite racist comments, which often turned out to be from Russia and Saudi Arabia, by the way. Mike Graham went on the radio the next day and said, yeah, you know what? Anyone who's found to be guilty of this should have their identity put out. They should be thrown in prison for making racist statements. We don't want racists in this country. Bye-bye. Mike, you total moron. You said that people should be locked up for comments that the ruling regime find to be racist. Well, now you're on the receiving end of accusations of racism. You can't cry foul. You should never have tried to cancel people in the first place, and now it's come back and bit you in the arse. So yeah, I wouldn't be in favour, of course, of people using this situation to cynically exploit it and shut down Talk, because I like appearing on Talk and I like the people that appear on Talk, and I think it's an important station to have, Dan. But if they get shut down over this, do you know who's to blame? Mike Graham.
Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.